met someone who introduced me to a drug dealer that became my own drug dealer. And,
Wow.
Out of all the years I've been using, I never had my own drug dealer. And this guy, he knew I was getting disability checks. And so he would actually give me credit for drugs. This one particular evening, I called him and he never showed up. I called him, kept calling, he wouldn't come over. So I figured I would go to this shelter for the weekend. It was a Friday. I'd go to the shelter, get some rest, and then try to catch him on Monday. Well, when I went to the shelter, God told me to stay there in so many words. And he brought some scripture to me, and there's some incidents that took place at the shelter where I knew it was God's voice. He was saying, stay right here. And so, hey, at that particular time, by his grace, I was willing. I said, yeah, good idea. You know better than I do. After a few months, I stayed clean. I knew what I needed to do to stay clean. I got a place of my own. After about 6 months, I started drifting again, went back to using, and got behind on my rent. I went over to see my dad, and he told me that my grandmother in Memphis had a staph infection. They thought they may have to cut her leg off.
Oh, wow.
So here I am up there in Cleveland getting high, and I had the means to go down there if I didn't use. So I'm thinking, well, okay, what am I here for anyway? This is something that God had just been bringing to my mind over and over again already. And so I decided, hey, I'm going to do what I need to do to stay clean, and started getting back into some notes that I had written back in the mid-90s. I opened up The Heart of Addiction by Mark Shaw. I had a copy of Ed Welch, Addictions, The Banquet in the Grave. I wound up reading that at least 6 times. I just went on and stayed clean. I started making, after I caught up with my rent, I started making trips to Memphis every month. I would go there and stay there a couple weeks and go back to my apartment and stay there in Cleveland a couple of weeks. And after a year, I was able to move down to Memphis and just continue with a life of sobriety. So that was back in 2011 when I really began to take the Lord seriously.